Banky special.
Yeah, pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out to everybody out there on YouTube, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love, man. Team Banky Pound all day. Shout out to my family members. I love y'all. Big shout out to everybody who rock with my Sam Pitts video. I got a lot of love and good comments back about the Sam Pitts video. A lot of y'all really took to his story. You know, and like I told you, he was a very, very unique guy. But as I told you, I'm gonna bring y'all more of these stories, these different type of characters that I've met, these different type of situations that I've been in, these different type of incidents that I've seen. So hopefully y'all enjoying it, man. We're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep pushing forward, we're gonna build them numbers up, man. So like I always say, you know, like, subscribe, share, you know, get this video out there, man, and talk to some other people, get them to come over here and join this good family we got going on over here. So with that being said, today I want to talk to y'all about a different type of situation. Not individuals per se, individual characters are in this story here, but this basically is about the first time I actually seen a knife fight. Not someone getting stabbed. I've seen that, I had seen that prior to this, but I'm talking about an actual knife fight where the two individuals, each of them has a knife, you know, like medieval days, you know, so the best man win, you know. But, you know, normally, you know, in the penitentiary, you might see somebody get stabbed, you know, but they may not, the person getting stabbed may not have a knife, or it be unbeknownst to them, or they wasn't ready, or they weren't prepared. Thus, you know, the saying, always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Because if you know you're beefing with somebody, then you know you need to be, you know, on point at all times. But nevertheless, this was an actual knife fight that I seen, and it was man, it was crazy. And I can remember it just like it was yesterday. I can remember the participants, I can remember the situation, I can remember the outcome, everything. So I'm gonna give you a little, try to put you in that space of where it was happening at. At the time I was on Mecklenburg, I guess this would have been about 1991 or 2. And we was on the rec yard, basketball court rec yard on Mecklenburg at the time. At the time, Mecklenburg was the prison in Virginia that held all of the so-called violent offenders, people who had been in violent situations in prison, who had been in trouble for some type of violence while already in prison, and they held death row as well. All the death row inmates in Virginia was held on Mecklenburg. So this was like the tough guy prison, you know. This was the one place they sent you when, you know, when you was considered to be, you know, a dangerous person. So everybody on there had some type of reputation of one form or another. So with that being said, you know, everybody on the camp developed and used some level of respect for each other, because you knew that the next dude beside you wasn't no sucker, and vice versa. So on the yard over there where we was at, that would be where dudes gamble at and play basketball. And a lot of the gambling went on over there, and I mean, you know, it'd be big money, you know, big money for what's considered in prison. Maybe not big money out here to y'all, but big money to what was considered big money in prison. So dudes be losing their money, man, and they lose, you know, their livelihood, things that they need to survive in there, but they be gambling, and sometimes they go all out there, man, and might lose everything. Now, along with gambling, just like on the street, I know in the penitentiary, you know, gambling is dangerous, man, because you're in a situation where you lose money and you got to pay that money, and a lot of people will lose money or go to gamble, what they call in prison. They call making an ass bet. You know, you betting and you ain't got no money, you know, and you trying to win something. So that's a very dangerous situation in prison, because people gonna take you for your word. If you know, you can't just run in and get your money. So somebody might say, I got such money upstairs, man, give me this. And they'll gamble, and someone will give you that money on credit thinking that you got it upstairs. Now, if you lose when you get upstairs, you have to pay that money. You know, no exceptions. Now, a lot of people will do that in hopes that they win. And then when they get upstairs, they never have to pay the money. But they never had anything upstairs anyway. That right there is ultra dangerous. And a lot of people will throw their life on the line with either a gambling habit or just being foolish and do things like that, hoping or thinking that they're gonna win, and they don't, and then you're in a world of trouble. So this particular day we was out there, I went out there with a homeboy of mine. We was playing basketball and whatnot, but the dudes was gambling and everything. And it was all these killers at the table, man. I mean, killers. It's literally dudes at this table that done killed on the outside and on the inside. So it's a dangerous game, and it's a dangerous situation to be in. So anything can happen at any time. So this is what's going on right here, and you know, you in the mix of this. So you know, crazy atmosphere, man. But this is when I think back on things like this, it just blows my mind, the situations that I was in. And when you're in these situations, man, it just seems so normal to you because you used to it now. But you know, looking back now, just even being out here a year, man, I was in some crazy situations. So I can remember them dudes, man, playing that day, man. There was a lot of tension going on in the game. And like I say, there's multiple killers in this game. And when the game was over, everybody tallying up what they owe, who owe what, this, that, and the third. So we leave off of the yard, and on Mecklenburg, when you leave off of the yard, you go off of the yard, the guards come and open the gates, you leave off the yard, and you had two different buildings. So some people are going to 3 buildings, some people are going to 2 buildings. So we have to separate, and they go this way and we go this way. So as we're going one way to go to our building, over the 2 building, and the other people are going to 3 building, it was actually a white dude that was running this particular poker game. Yes, a white dude in prison. So you know right now where the story is going, because, you know, I mean, in prison it's just a fact, not fiction, that, you know, it's predominantly black. So out here in society, you know, black people or non-white people might be, you know, the majority. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might be the minority. But in prison, you know what I'm saying, white people are actually the minority, because there's not that many in there. So when you are in there and you are in a situation like you are on Mecklenburg and you are involved in gambling, then you have to be a person that can be, you know, able to withstand whatever comes with that. And that means you're going to have to be a tough cat and a cat with a pretty big heart. Because normally in prison, a white dude is not going to be involved in no gambling, and especially they're going to be involved in no gambling with no black dudes, because he always going to feel like they're going to try to advantage take him. They're not going to pay him. They're going to try to, you know, test his mettle or whatever. And that's normally the case. So in this situation, like I say, this dude was known to, he was known, I think his name, I know his whole name, because ironically too, in prison, you got some people who developed whole names. You call them by their whole name. It's a whole rack of them, man. You know, did you just call their whole name out? It's like I just told y'all about Sam Pitts. You call his whole name out, you know. Stacey Perry, Bo Billy. It's just a lot of dudes that's their whole name. This particular white dude, I don't know where he's at now, whether he's still locked up or not. So the way the story goes, with respect to that, I ain't gonna say his whole name, but I just say people who know him and know the situation gonna know what I'm talking about. His name was Jesse, and his last name began with a P. So I just say Jesse P. So Jesse P was running the game. So when we separated and Jesse then went to their side to go to their yard, the rest of us is going to our side to go to the yard. So we're separated now by gates, and officers is out there and everything. So Jesse hollers out to this dude named Tink. Shout out Tink too, man. Tink did a lot of time, man. I think as much as me or even a little bit more. Got out and went back and something too. But he's back out again. I recently seen Tink, you know, physically seen him probably about 4 or 5 months ago. So shout out Tink too, man, if you watching this. A little bitty dude, man, but a hot biggest Texas, man. And for the most part too, for the most time I know him, he stayed in something at all times. I don't think I was ever around him for more than 6 months and he wanted some type of drama or altercation or something. But like I say, he was far from scared and he was always trained to go. So we walking across our side of the yard and they going on their side, and I heard Jesse holler out to Tink, just as casual as if you telling somebody, hey, bye or whatever. He was just as casual as he wanted to be. He said, hey, yo, Tink, yeah, when we come out this evening, if you don't bring that money out, bring your knife too, man, and be prepared to kill somebody or to die. So I was like, you know, I was like stunned to my ears. Did he say exactly what I thought he said? So Tink was like, what you say? He was like, you heard what I said? So he was like, you know, all the profanities. What? Blah, blah, yeah, I'll be out here. You make sure you be out here. I don't know who you think you talking to. Da 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 da. Woo woo. And they, you know, they in it now. So, you know, the white boy ain't say nothing else. Jesse was like, all right. So we went in. So we going all on our side now. Everybody's talking about it. Man, you heard what he said to you, man. What's up, man, with you? He said, man, I killed that cat, man. Why? You know, he don't know what he messing with. I don't know what he's talking about. You know, da da da. So it's on there. You know, that's nothing that you can say in penitentiary is going to be taken lightly. That's nothing that you can say that you can just brush under the rug. It's automatic now. It's going to be some type of fireworks and drama when these doors open back up for us to come outside. So man, the whole, you know, aura of what of the day had changed now. So now everybody is knowing about this. Everybody's talking about this. Everybody on edge. Man, did you hear what Jesse said to Tank? Man, you know, yeah, we go out there this evening. They supposed to do this, do that, or whatever. So man, everybody's in high anticipation about what's gonna happen. So later on, after counting has been done and lunch and everything has been served, they're gonna ready to call rec, man. So I can look and see everybody, you know, on edge. I can see Tink and his entourage, his buddies and stuff. You know, they congregating, they getting ready. You know, they getting war ready because it's war on the table. You know, so they getting war ready. And man, it's just a crazy, crazy atmosphere, man. I can remember it, and you don't even be involved, but your adrenaline is already flowing because whenever you're around or in the midst of that kind of danger, it could go south at any time. Everybody could just start fighting. It could just get crazy, you know. So you can always choose not to go out there and not be in it. But then too, it's like, you know, people will look at you like, well, oh, you scared or you ain't go out there because, you know, it's a mix of feelings going on right now, and everybody's trying to protect their own self. Everybody's trying to act calm when no one is actually calm because they know that some serious stuff is getting ready to pop off. So they call the wreck. So we're going out to the wreck. Now, mind you, this yard is so small too for the people that's going out there. It's like about the actual size of a basketball court with maybe almost the size of an extra half a court extra. That's about as big as the whole yard is, period, for whoever's going on that yard right there. That's not the main yard, it's the basketball court yard, but that's the yard where all the gambling take place, and that's where we were going. And once you get in there, the police walks us all over there. He lets us all in. Once everybody get in, he locks the gate, and then he leaves. Barbed wire fence is over the top of the gate. You cannot get out. Only way you can get out is if he come opening the door, and he's gone. So essentially, you're in a death trap. If you're in a situation where someone's coming for your life and you can't defend yourself or you won't defend yourself, you are literally in a death trap. It is up to you to fend for you, and it is up to you to save your own life. You need to know that every time you go out on the yard in prison, or every time you walk out of your cell in prison, for that matter of fact. So That's something that all you young cats out here right now doing all this foolishness out here on the street need to think about. These are the situations and the conditions you will be placed in when you're in prison. So we on this small yard and the tension is already thick. Instead of dudes going grabbing the basketball, playing basketball, going getting the cars, start playing the cars, everybody dispersed to their own little corner of the fence, their own little corner of the yard, because everybody know what's going on. So just like a movie, man, this is one of the wildest scenes I've seen, like in actual real time. It's like a movie. Soon as the officer was out of sight, Jesse was at the back of the fence sitting down, and you could see he had his whole forearm wrapped up, and he was sitting down, and Tink was all the way on the other side talking to his guys. Now, mind you, Jesse knows the play. He knows he's out here with a bunch of black guys, number one, and he knows he's in prison. He's not an idiot. He also had a couple of white dudes out there with him as well. Each one of these white dudes was just as dangerous as the next man beside you. One of them, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I think his name was Tim. I think his name was either Tim or Tom, but he had recently had a body in prison within the past decade. He had actually killed someone in prison within the past 10 years. So he had a reputation already as being a no-nonsense guy, even though he was a white dude and he was in essentially a black man's world in prison. He was known to, you had to use caution when you was dealing with him, because anyone who would take a life is someone who to be reckoned with. So he was out there, and you could see by the way they was standing and the way they was posted up that they was actually with Jesse in case Jesse needed them. Right now, I'll get to that part later on, but that's what they were there for, and you could clearly see that if you had that eye and knew what was going on. You could survey the whole, the whole layer of this stuff and know what was going on, who was with who, and what was going down. But this thing shook out worse than anybody thought it was going to shake out, So actually, I seen all of that, and I was over there myself, with the actual dude name who I just said, when you could use his whole name, Stacey Perry. We was over by the corner, and we just watching the situation. So soon as the guard was out of sight, man, it was just like I say, like a movie, man. Jesse stood up and started walking across the yard or the basketball court, and he pulled out this long knife. And you could see it was glistening. It was hot. It was summertime. It was daytime, and you could see it was evidently sharpened to the teeth. So he walked across the yard, and the first thing he said as he's walking across the yard towards Tink, he pulled the knife out. He says, okay, Tink, come on, let's see what you got. And Tink started walking towards him, and Tink pulled out this real long ice pick. I mean, it was longer than what Jesse had. It was a long ice pick. So they actually walk up towards each other. And mind you, like I said, there had been rumors that Jesse knew some type of karate or whatever. And from the way he was moving, he knew something. He knew something. Because when he walked up to Tink, he just went this way, that way, and he swung up. And when he swung up, that knife caught Tink across his face. Here, 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 and went all the way up. And to this day, Tink has a scar on his face from the bottom of his chin, skip a little bit across his nose and a little bit across his eyebrow from how sharp that knife was, and when he swiped up and it just grazed his face and cut his face. So he's coming at Tink now, he's swinging the knife, and Tink is bagging up and poking at him, and they are actually in a real live knife fight where your life is on the line. There's no police out here to save you. There's no one out here to save you. You are actually in a fight for your life with weapons involved. So we looking at this, and I'm me, and I'm sure everybody else in awe, because it just happened just like that. As soon as the police was gone, it just popped off. So they're actually circling each other, and Tink now is bleeding. So he's trying to wipe his face and keep dude away from him. He's poking at him and trying to wipe his face at the same time. So Jesse is steady coming at him. Come on, Tink, come on. Come on, I told you, man. I told you I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I told you I was going to kill you. And he's going at him, and he's swinging the knife and swinging and jumping and moving from side to side. So you can see Tink is under pressure, right? And it's crazy. And he's steady wiping blood. Blood is steady streaming from his face. So as this is going on, man, unbeknownst to everybody else, because they're watching them, and especially Jesse. Jesse is going to him, and he's not paying attention. But one of Tink's friends, man, Bo, dude named Bo, I just say Bo. Bo went and grabbed a curl bar. And he grabbed that curl bar, man, a weight curl bar. And if you know weights, this curl bar probably weighs 20, 22, 25 pounds. He grabbed the curl bar and he started sneaking up behind Jesse. And when he's sneaking up behind Jesse while both of them are knife fight, I see the white dudes, like I told you, Tom, them over there, Tim or Tom, whatever his name was, they was over there. They was getting ready to make a move because they see them making a move. That's when all of the killers, you know, stepped up and stepped to the white guys and said, y'all better not do anything. Don't get involved. Don't do nothing. Now the dudes who said this to them, now these dudes is straight killers for real. And everybody know it. They are straight killers for real. So the white dudes was definitely outnumbered. They was definitely outgunned. So they just stayed and mind their business, you know, which, fair or unfair, I can tell you this now. This is something I learned while I was in prison, and I'd never seen it happen. I probably would never seen it happen if I'd have stayed in there 100 years that I know of, especially not down in the prisons that I've been in. There's no prison in Virginia that I ever been in where they are idly going to stand by and watch a white dude kill a black dude. I just ain't never seen it. I don't think I would ever see it in these prisons. That's just how it was. People are going to get involved. They're going to stop it if the white dude is winning. That's why I say it behooves a white dude not to even involve himself in that type of gambling or that type of environment, because the deck is always going to be stacked against him. You know, i.e. the way it is with a black man out here in society. The deck is already going to be stacked against you. So with that being said, man, the dudes that he had the board out there to watch his back could not even watch his back because their life would have been in jeopardy as well. So the dude Bo sneaks right up behind Jesse and hits him in the head. Bop! He just dropped. He just dropped to the ground like a sack of potatoes. And he still had the knife in his hand. And when he dropped to the ground like a sack of potatoes, Tink ran over to him and got on top of him. And this is no pun intended. This is exactly what you heard, and this is exactly what happened. Tink is his name. Like Tink, that's what you heard. He got right on top of him, and he stabbed that man in the chest twice. And he stabbed him so hard, mind you, like I say, we was on the basketball court, which is concrete. He stabbed him so hard, you heard the knife hit the cement up under him. Tink, Tink, i.e. his name. That is real talk, no joke. I actually heard it myself because the knife went through him and he got up off of him. Bo ran over there and stepped on his hand and tried to take the knife out of his hand. The knife was so sharp and he was still holding on to it. I guess self-preservation still, you know, is working. The knife was so sharp, it literally cut tendons and stuff in Bo's hand. Bo ended up having to go to the hospital too and have surgery on his hand because of how deep the knife cut him. It almost severed his fingers from trying to get the knife out of Jesse's hand. And this is after Jesse has been stabbed, you know. So Tink runs over where he at. By now, you know, everybody's in chaos. The yard is in chaos. The tower that watches over the yard, that should have been watching it, that should have been seeing what was going on, has now become aware that something serious going on the yard, has sent out the alert. The police are coming. Everybody has to get back up against the fence and get down because the police are bum rushing over there. Jesse is laying out there on the basketball court in a pool of blood. You know, everybody has ran to their own corners and everything and tucking their knives and trying to hide. You know, it's up to the police to try to identify who was involved in the situation. They see Jesse down there. They know he needs medical attention. They get medical over there for him. He's laying on the ground. He's shaking, you know, bleeding to death. Then, you know, they start taking people off the yard. And you can hear them telling them that they're going to have to medevac him out here. He's going to need the helicopter. So the helicopter is coming to get Jesse, man. People is getting took off of the yard. Eventually, they got, you know, Bo. Bo had to go to the hospital. They think Bo did it because he's the one bleeding as well. But eventually they got Bo, they got Tink, they got the people that was involved Jesse got medevac to the hospital, and you literally had dudes. This is the heartlessness of prison, the hardness of prison that people, you know, have been conditioned to be because of the environment they're in. You literally had people taking bets on whether or not Jesse was alive or dead, whether Jesse was going to live or die. People literally had bets on that situation right there. And it was just crazy to me, but that's just how it was going down. And mind you, like I say, you're talking 90, 91 or 92, so you're talking 87, 88, 9, 90, 91. I'm in prison less than 5 years. You know, I'm in prison less than 5 years, if that's the time frame, which I'm sure it is. It had to be in between that time. So you're talking 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. Yeah, less than 5 or 6 years I was in prison. And this is what I'm saying. So this is what shaped my mind to be who I had to be in prison, because I had already seen what can happen to you. I had already witnessed and experienced the violence in prison, the merciless people that are in prison. So you either going to be, you know, a lion, or you're going to be a sheep. There's no other way. Because no one is going to have mercy on you. No one is going to save you but you, you know. So that was a very, very dramatic, crazy scene, man, that I witnessed, man, within the first couple of years of my prison sentence, man. And like I said, it had a profound effect on me. And later on down the line, we found out Jesse did not die. You know, thank God he did not die. But he did become very, very... He did become very, very messed up, man. I think he had some permanent effects from what happened to him. I heard one time he was in a wheelchair. He was wheelchair bound from that situation. But I also heard later, a couple of years later, he was up and moving, but he walked kind of funny and had some faculties that were still messed up because of that situation. But all of that situation right there happened because of a couple of dollars, a couple of slick words, and it turned into a life or death situation, you know. And those are the type of things that happen in prison every single day, you know. So I think Tink ended up getting a little more time, and back then, you know, they wasn't even giving out a lot of time for those type of situations. And that's what made prison in Virginia at that time in the early late 80s and early 90s ultra dangerous. Because people were able to maim, kill, and disfigure you and get less time than what they got on the street to come to prison. You know, I know dudes that literally got murders in prison and got 10 years. I know dudes who got maimed dudes in prison and got 3, 4, 5 years. You know, I don't know the psychology behind that. I don't know what it is, but it was like that for a long time before they started changing the laws and opening up these new prisons where the dudes who was acting that type of violence, there was a consequence to pay to it, let alone more time. It was just these new prisons that they built for it, you know, with these guns on the prison, with these dogs, and they shoot you. So it was, they made the penalty so high that if a dude did want to create that type of violence, he knew that he was going to pay an ultra price for it. So it kind of curtailed all that violence. And in that sense, I think it worked with what they did by building these other prisons and you know, letting the guns and stuff come in. But then it just changed over to them. They became the bully. You know, they shoot you for no reason. They shoot you for raising your voice. They shoot you for stepping across a line. So you just exchange one set of violence for another set of violence, you know. And who's gonna stop them? What's the recourse for them? They was doing it, you know, with you know, no penalty to them at all. So it's just man, it's just a crazy situation. The way prison is a crazy situation. That, you know, the things that happen in prison that a lot of y'all out here in society don't know about. That's why, like I say, every day I live the way I live. That's why I feel so blessed. That's why, you know, I've been through what I've been through, and I can still smile because I know what I came through. I know I didn't have to make it through. I know each and every day of those 33 years, my life was on the line. You know, my health was on the line. You know, my whole, you know, being was on the line. And for me to make it through that, I just feel blessed, and I feel there's a purpose for it. Maybe it is to share these stories, you know. Maybe it is a young kid out there that's on the fence about prison and out here playing with these gangs and playing with these guns. He might see this and might understand prison ain't nowhere you want to be, bro. Not even for one day. It's nowhere that you want to be, you know. And I can promise you, it ain't no guarantee that if you go in there, you coming out. And it's even less of a promise that if you go in there, you coming out like you went in, you know. So these are the things we got to consider, man, when we out here in this free world and we not paying attention to what we're doing in the situations we putting ourselves in, especially if it's a prison situation, man. You know, you need to think real hard before you make those type of decisions. But man, that was like I say, my first knife fight that I actually witnessed. Unfortunately, I witnessed a lot more, but that one right there was the set the tone in my mind of what could happen, you know. Actually seeing it, and it also made me realize that the police is definitely not going to save you. Definitely not going to save you at all. I don't even know what they're there for besides to exercise their voice. The only time I seen them really, I think I only seen a police jump in physical altercation one time, especially when a weapon was involved, and he got stabbed himself. So maybe I'll tell y'all that story one day. It happened to be on that same institution, but other than that, I've never seen it. And I've actually witnessed dudes getting stabbed, and the police show up, and they just use their voice. They only yell and tell you stop, 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 but they don't physically try to stop you. This is why you physically have to be able to protect yourself at all times, because you're the only one that's going to save your own life in prison. So if you're not cut out for that, if you're not built for that, and no one is, you have to be grown into that. You have to grow into that. But if that's not something that you want to live, that's not a way that you want to live, prison ain't nowhere you want to be. Believe me, trust me, it's nowhere that you want to be, you know. So yeah, man, I just, you know, wanted to share that story with y'all. I hope y'all, you know, got something out of it. I'm sorry that it was so violent. I tried to keep it as GP as possible, but I wanted to share these type of things with y'all because these are the things that happen in prison. These are the type of things that I witnessed, you know. And it's like I say, it's always a blessing to come out of these lessons, you know. And the blessing is, man, that Jesse lived, man, and somebody didn't lose their life for something as petty as a couple of dollars or some words. So, you know, that's the blessing, you know, because it could have easily been even more tragic than it was. He could have lost his life. Tink could have, you know, went to the electric chair for taking his life or never got out of prison. I don't know if Jesse is out. I will check and try to find out, see if I can find out. I do know Tink is out, and I seen him. I don't know about Bo. I never really ran into him again at all. But a lot of the dudes that was in that situation or that was witness to that situation is out of prison, and I have actually talked to some of them. But that's just, like I said, one of the stories of many that I hope to share with y'all in the near future. Like I said, I hope y'all found it interesting or educational, and you got something out of it to get some type of grasp of what type of life that people is living in prison. If you have someone in prison, if you have a loved one in prison, if you know someone in prison, you know, I encourage you to show them some type of love, some type of support, some type of encouragement, because trust me, 9 times out of 10, the life that they living and the things that they're going through, they not telling you because of the simple fact that it's just too much to put on a person, because it's most of the time it's going to be too much for them as well. But trust me and believe me when I tell you, your love and support means the world to them. So if you know somebody, man, show them some love, show them some support, and pray for them at all times. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. If you're watching this and you ain't subscribed, please go subscribe. And if you are subscribed, go get some more subscribers and bring them over here with y'all so we can build this thing up, man, and share this good old information and this good positive vibes and this good energy. And we're going to keep growing and growing and growing. And we're going to spread this positivity all over the world, man. Feed the positive and starve the negative. That's what we trying to do over here, and we trying to prevent some people from making the mistakes that I made and a whole lot of other people made and put themselves in this death trap called prison, and just pray that they can get out of it. So we don't want to even get in it, so we won't even have to be in that situation to try to get out of it. So that's what we trying to share this information for. So with that being said, man, I love y'all out there. I appreciate y'all, man. Team Banky Pound. Shout out to all my family members. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with me from day one. I hope you keep rocking with me. We're going to keep on moving forward with this good positivity and this good energy. We're going to keep vibing. So stay tuned. I got more videos to come. And hey, peace and love.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.